Okay, Niyad. So, hello everyone. So, all we have gathered today for the 68th year winners way for Hudco. And am I audible? Yes.
Yes, yes.
So, we have gathered today for 68th year Hudco, uh, presenting another season for our YouTube series. Technically, the last season of Winners Way for this year, with a focus on sharing the experience, ideas, approaches, and visions for the past year's triumph, aimed at providing clarity, encouraging participation, and catalyzing collective learning among the students of NASA India. So, at first, I would like to give an introduction, for the winners who we have here. Uh, for the last year citation 1 we have Z211 Indian Education Society's College of Architecture. For citation 2 we have Z212 IPS Academy Indore. For special mention 1 we have Z112 Department of Architecture and Planning, Malviya National Institute of Technology. For special mention 2 we have Z205 Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology Bhopal. Special mention 3 we have Z214 Faculty of Architecture, IDPT skit. And for the Juris Choice Award, we have Z681 SCMS School of Architecture SSA. Welcome everyone on board. I'm really, and other than that, we also have our 68th year trophies head, Sresh Dadwal. Welcome everyone on board. I really hope that this session would be really enriching and very knowledgeable for the upcoming participants for the 68 years Hudco Trophy, and I'm sure that they will get encouraged from your journey. Yes, Shrestha, you have some, please.
So, talking about the 67th year HUDCO brief, the 67th year HUDCO brief mainly focused on designing affordable and sustainable rental housing for students and young professionals in urban India. The brief mainly emphasized on community living, climate responsive design, affordability, and sustainability through their effective planning, shared spaces, and renewable energy systems. Participants were required to design a rental housing complex on a 3,000 to 5,000 square meter site in Class 1 Indian cities, integrating dormitories, residential unit, and common residential facilities. So this was the brief for 67th year Hudco Trophy. I think now we can start with the presentation by the winners.
Yes, absolutely, Shrestha. So at first we have our citation 1 winner, Z211, Indian Education of Societies College of Architecture. From there we have Shravani Kulkarni, Head Shah, and Kriti Anwal. Please present your last year's entry. And
Yeah.
yes,
Is the screen visible?
yes, the screen is visible.
Yeah. So, as Shresh rightly said, that last brief majorly talked about reimagining the urban rental housing, and it was for the evolving lifestyle and the urban migration, which has been at its peak. And so, our main focus was on the users, which were the young professional, the students, and the family members that come with either the students or the young professional. So, for that was our main object was to identify the site. So, our site was at Ghansali, which was selected because it was near the college. It was near in close proximity to the Geo Park and all the industrial areas, which majorly help for the migration of the young professionals or the students. After that, selecting the site, we came to the SWOT analysis and the overall. So to the SWOT analysis, in which again the work was divided, where a few of the people were given the task of understand the government scheme which were available in the Navi Mumbai region or in the surrounding region, which could be helpful for us to reduce the cost or in careful schemes which can help in rental housing. Also, we tried to understand the site during different periods of the day, right from morning, afternoon, and night, and what all activities take place over there. After that, we started with the rents in the Navi Mumbai metropolitan region. We identified that the rent has been around 19,000 to 20,000, right to 7,000 to 9,000, in which then we identified that in Gansoli, what is the rent prices for like one room kitchen, 1 BHK, 2 BHK dormitory, which were the modules that were asked in the brief to to be designed. In the again in that we tried to differentiate it between the unfurnished, the furnished, and what was the distinction between those. And also we identified that a major problem was that the rent prices have been increasing over the years, but there has not been a drastic change in the salary of the people working in those regions, which had been indicated over here. After that, we tried to understand the site at a micro or a macro level, where we understood what were the land masses, the green spaces surrounding, what was the street level, how the buildings, the footpath, and the roads all work together. And again, what was the site area, the wind path, the sun path, which again helped us in the overall massing and the site development of our built mass. And again, we try to study the timeline of the region, how it has developed over the years, right from 1973, where it was the Navi Mumbai plan was proposed. After that, how the geopark has helped in evolving the whole region. After that, we moved to interviews, where we tried to take interviews of different stakeholders in that region, right from low salary workers to medium to high salary workers, how they have been staying, what kind of condition they have been staying in. We also tried to interview few of the students or even the landlord which have been providing such rental housing in those region. And then we jotted down what all were their needs. Again, what all accessibility criteria do they look for while looking for a rental housing in the region. After that, we came to the case studies, where we try to identify a few case studies which are linked directly to our objective, where we then identified what all materials or what all planning objectives have been taken place by the built mass. And again, what was their unit planning criteria, what was their overall site context based. After that, we try to do site analysis using AQI graph, wind analysis, humidity, sun path, etc. Through which this was our main the sheet, where we talked about the whole how the building is developed over, where it was first the set out where the building setbacks had been taken place, then the massing, and then our main objectives, which were the passive strategies, which was the central courtyard that was creating a microclimate. Then again, wattle facade would require sun blockers. Then there were double-heighted lawn spaces provided. Then there were open terrace spaces at each floor so that there is a breathable space for the people and it doesn't feel too obstructed. After that, it was also about how the whole ground floor has taken place, because that's the entry level view that people first see. So there were few of the activities that were provided on the ground floor, which will be explained further. After that, we also tried to optimize the overall courtyard by keeping the proportions of the courtyard and the building height in proportion so that the area is shaded throughout the day. Then we tried to do some grasshopper plugins using grasshopper plugins to understand what all sun has been affecting the building in what ways and where there will be a requirement of special treatment. Then we identified few of the livability criteria such as physical livability, social cultural livability, ecological livability, thus providing green walls, etc., or like providing lawn spaces or spill out spaces for the residents so that the overall space can feel much more lively. After that, I think Shravani, would you like to take off from this?
Yes. In the brief, we were asked to design four types of modules: 1 RK, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, and dormitory. First, we studied the problem faced by people currently living in these spaces. Then, we designed each module in two ways: one for families or couples, and other for young professionals or students, as the brief included different types of stakeholders. For the Vanake, the main problem were less space and storage issue. As shown in a plan A, which is designed for families, we added a partition in the room so one person can work at night while the other person can sleep peacefully. We also provided vertical storage like shelves and organizers along with underbed storage. In the same way, we designed the 1 BHK, 2 BHK, and dormitory modules based on the needs and problems of the users. Next sheet. As you can uh, As you can see in all the plans, we have provided an open kitchen because students and young professions usually don't use the kitchen very frequently. Instead of giving a separate kitchen and utility area, we use that space to make the bedroom and living room area more spacious. Also, in the plans designed for young professionals and students, we have provided two separate toilets since two different students will be living in the unit. People living in rental houses usually do not want to stay inside for long and prefer spending more time outside because the space often feel uncomfortable and lack privacy. So we design the plans in a way that makes people feel more comfortable and gives them better privacy while staying at home. We have also provided balconies to create a better living environment and gives residents some open space. Next. Um, we have provided most of the amenities on the ground floor, so they are easily accessible for everyone. We included co-working spaces for people who sometimes work from home. There is also small cafe, game zone, and gym on the ground floor. We have also provided a conference room for the building meetings and sitting area in between for people to relax and interact. According to fire safety rules, there should be maximum distance of 30 meters between two staircase. So we have provided two lobbies in the design. Near lobby one, we have also provided lockers for each room where delivery item or food packages can kept safely if residents are not at home. We did not provide much parking for four wheelers since this is rental housing. However, we have provided two wheelers parking according to the number of units mentioned in the bylaws. Providing more four wheelers parking would increase the overall cost of the project as basement parking is expensive to construct. Next sheet. In the floor plans, we have provided launch space near the lobby and a laundry room on each floor for the convenience of resident. We have also designed a double-loaded corridor to avoid wasting spaces in circulation area. As we move to upper floors, the number of units gradually reduces to create open terraces on each level. We have also provided solar panels on the terrace floors. Next sheet. And these are the views of the building. Now Hit can take over.
Yeah. So for as I rightly said, there were few of the areas which were getting harsh sunlight due to them facing towards the south. So we have tried using sun blockers, which are also angled at a certain this so that there is no obstruction of the view, and the sun is also not that harsh. Again, we have tried putting some terracotta wall or green wall at spaces to reduce the overall temperature at the building. And yeah, after that, yeah, this is overall material selection and how we have used low VOC paints or materials which are low cost but also provide helps in reducing the U value of the building. Also, we have given a comparison why we have taken certain methods of construction. For example, the hollow core decking versus the aluminum decking, where we have also provided why how much the cost reduction is, also what it is beneficial. After that, yeah, this was the overall sustainability sheet where we talked about rainwater harvesting, the solar panels, the angle of the solar panels to provide maximum electricity generation, then how the gray water has been recycled and reused to reduce the water consumption, and again what were the calculation required for the underground and the overhead tanks. Again, with that, we have also tried providing rainwater harvesting as we have provided terrace, which also helps in this. Yeah, and then we try to get in a step closer with building management systems where we have provided sprinklers and safe CCTV cameras and how all of them have been integrated into a single system which can be monitored easily. With that, fire safety has been taken in place with sprinklers at individual distance and smoke detectors with fire safety norms where the staircase should be at 30 meters interval. And then we have also tried providing low flow fixtures and energy efficient appliances, which also helps in reducing the overall water consumption. Along with that, the energy use, thus bringing the maintenance cost down. And yeah, then it was all of the estimation how we have tried to reduce the cost as much as possible, which has been like briefly put over here, the overall costing. And then the final cost that we came to was 7 crore 54 lakhs 41,222, which was like 30 or 35% lesser than the usual cost that was found. And then we also tried to identify what was the rent prices now that we can provide for the users, which was around 5,000 or 12,000, 17,000, in contrast to the existing cost, which were 9,000, 17,000, 25,000, which we identified was again 30% lesser than the cost that was provided in other buildings. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very well explained and all. So we will ask viewers if they have any questions, they can ask us directly from YouTube as well. Apart from that, uh, winning citation one, a lot must have gone behind the scenes apart from this design. So I just wanted to ask, how was your team structures or the roles were divided in your team so that the responsibilities were divided accordingly?
Yeah, so the thing is, during our when Hudco was released, we also had our university exams going on. So already, because the dates were coinciding, we missed out on 15 days of. So instead of 45 days for Hudco, we had 30 days. So we had already missed out on 15 days of work. But luckily, the team really pulled it through. So we had a mix of seniors and juniors, so mostly third year, second year, and first year, wherein most of the estimations and all and the design strategies were done by the third year, the seniors, and the first and second first year. Usually, we include them so that they can learn, they can provide their inputs, and so the team was divided in a way that you get to learn and we get to teach also. So yeah.
Great presentation, I would say, and also uh, winning hardcore citation one is uh, quite an achievement for you guys. Congratulations. I would like to mention one thing, that I'm sure that while on this process of the whole building up the entry and everything, like I'm sure that there has been certain hard ways where you guys got stuck, and how to cater to this, or can you like share some examples of that, so that for the future uh, for the future people who are also doing hardcore now, they can relate to that or like get inspiration from that.
So for if we ever got stuck, then we had a few of the seniors that we helped. There was a senior which helped us in like getting the costing and all again, because he had his thesis on like housing complex and those. So we tried to take help of them, or then we had always had YouTube or something which helped us. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And also, what are the main softwares that were used?
Majorly it was Photoshop, SketchUp, Rhino for only the analysis part. Yeah, and AutoCAD for the plans. Those are the only softwares that we use majorly, yeah, because it was accessible to the first years or the second years, which were helping us.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So, do we have any other questions coming up from here? Okay, so I take it as a no. Thank you so much, guys. Now we move forward to our next presentation. Uh, we have our Citation 2 team, uh, Z212 IPS Academy Indore. From there, we have Mohammad Rajgharwala and Priyansh Baswar. So You guys can please proceed with your presentations.
Okay. I'll
Mhm.
start presenting.
Yes.
Uh, Hello everyone. So this is Z212. We have two more members, Mithali Taylor and Samriddhi. They will be beginning with the presentation. Uh, Priyansh, if you can. So let's begin. Samriddhi.
So basically, starting with our project name, that is Rahga. So basically, Rag means the journey and Ga means the place. And also about the brief, as already told, we were there to design the affordable rental housing for the students, young youth, and working professionals. So we designed the dwelling units and also next. uh, Also, according to the brief, we had to design, the design should be sustainable, community inclusive. We also had to include innovative technological integration and also the shared interactive spaces, and it should also be community inclusive, climate responsive. We had to select our site in the tier 1 city, so we chose Kothurud, Pune. So it's basically a student area, uh, including IT sector and the educational institute. So we could cater a large target audience of young youth and students. Um, we also did the activity mapping and also studied about the government schemes. Next sheet. So this is the site analysis of Pune Kothurud. We did the climate analysis as well, and about the site vicinity, it was near to the educational institutes. Yes, and this was the soil analysis and climate analysis. Next, we also studied the bylaws interpretation, um, which was and the massing development. We were given the four different typologies, that was dormitories, 2 bhk, 1 bhk, and 1 rk. So we divided the spaces accordingly. And the next is the concept.
For the concept, we had a storyline on a migrating bird, local migrating birds, which were blue robin, kingfisher, and flamingos, and also a local bird. We took them together and showed how migrating birds come and meet up at a banyan tree. The banyan tree shows where the place they rest, which is also our structure, the building that we built. In the concept, we showed that how home is not just something that you live in permanent. It could be a temporary place where you meet people, you grow as a person, and how you evolve. Here we also showed how the bird, which was blue robin, evolved as an introvert to a bird who could finally bring together everything that he had and open and share it with everyone, and how he could connect and seek opportunities. Also, we studied the sustainable development goals, which helped us to know about the requirements and also how the government wants things to be done. Our goal was to uh, our our goal was to construct a low cost maintenance place where students with rental housing could afford it, and also how everything was affordable to them. How could they live easily? Uh, our design intent was to create everything sustainable. It was to be created interactively. We had many interactive spaces like football court and everything, where they can meet together and built a community of their own, even while they had difference in themselves. Also, it was very affordable. The daylighting and natural ventilation and other aspects were also given equal part in the designing too. So it could create a balance between everything. The next slide.
So now I'd like to take over. So basically, the main concept of like taking on from the concept, we wanted interaction on every level. We did not wanted to leave anyone out, even if they were living in a dorm or in a 2 BHK, while providing them privacy on their particular levels, yet in having a big inclusivity group through spaces and through planning and putting things in such a way that no one was isolated or like a particular group was isolated out. And as this was targeted toward young professionals, our goal was to keep it very fast paced and like they don't have much time there. Everyone is gonna move in, live for 4 to 5 years because you will migrate to a next place. You won't completely be here as students, and mostly young working professionals in their early or late 20s would be working there. So that was a basic concept. Can you move to the next slide? Uh, yeah, so these are all the technical drawings, all the plumbing and electric plans, all the faucets and like all the fixtures were used. Can you go to the next floor plans? So what we did was like we put together one RK beside a 2 BHK, one dormitories next to 1 BHK. So there could be inclusivity. It was like someone who has just graduated from a particular field and is a senior to someone else could help someone out to create inclusivity. If a dormitory is next to 2 BHK, who as working professionals in their late 20s could help someone in their early 20s to figure things out in even in projects, and they could have interaction, real life experience. Like it should be like isolated towards like all they have. It should be very interactive, and for that we even added multiple interact spaces on each floor, from sports courts like turfs and basketball to even just spaces to hang out, so you could have inclusivity and community. Like it was like a banyan tree, it has nest of many birds and like they live in a harmony, so it was to create this harmony. Can you move to the next slide? So these were the renders like of each dwellings and all the interaction spaces. We did not go for basement parking and we used open corridors and balconies so we could maximize the FAR to reduce the cost. And similarly, as in the citation one they did, we also provided the parking per dwelling, not reducing number of parking to number of persons instead of NBC to reduce the cost, as those who aren't in their late like those who are in their early 20s won't be owning much vehicles comparatively to those in their midlives. Next slide. These were some sustainability techniques: groundwater harvesting, rainwater recharging, like louvers and sunshades were provided to break the harsh sun, Pune sun. Can you move to the next slide? So this was like development, all the procedures, all the steps taken for the construction of this building, all the steps. Move to the next slide. So this was the life cycle analysis of how sustainable this building was. We tried to use materials which were quite sustainable, and instead of brickwork, we went for precast concrete sheets for the walls and all. So, cause the life cycle they were at one point they were more sustainable than bricks, which were like burnt in tins, and it was quite quicker and easier to assemble than traditional bricks, reducing the time of the project and helping with the cost. Can you move to the next slide? So this was like total estimate of the costing. The total cost came around 2.87 crores, which we can roughly give it to around 3 CRs was our whole project cost, which is quite low comparatively compared to the other buildings in the similar area. Using precast concrete sheets made it quite affordable. Can you move to the next slide? So conclusion was similar, like we wanted inclusivity of everyone. We did not wanted like for someone to move to a college to a tier one city in a small town. It's a big step. You feel like you are alone. No, you don't know anyone. You feel isolated. Like it's a big city. You are coming from a small town. You get scared a bit. So we wanted to create a community, a space where you feel inclusive. You could have like old someone living as your siblings. So like they could be like your siblings. They act like that. They could support you. So we created and planned it through architecture, like so that young students could be partnered up with young working professionals who could help them out in their personal and professional life. So that was the basic idea of Hudco. Thank you.
Yes, great presentation, Z212. First of all, I really like the name Raga that you guys have given. Like, that really makes sense. First question from my end would be that is, we all know that choosing a site is half the battle of winning any trophy or something like that. So, what were your reasons to choose a site which you have chosen it right now in Pune? So, how did you guys approach it?
So basically, looking for a area that had both working professionals as well as students, like in a close in a like 2 to 3 kilometer radius. Kothrood was like very quite accessible to that. Like it had IT sectors also, and yet close to many big colleges over there. Now, Priyansh would like to continue.
Okay, I'd like to add more that if we were to choose a place where there were not much of our target audience, it wouldn't make much sense. So we specifically chose Pune, Kothrood specifically, because Kothrood is a place where a lot of students already live, like a lot of students and working professionals. So it would have been quite easier for them to, shift into our, and it would have been more affordable for them. So yeah, that made the most sense to us.
Yes, that's actually makes a lot of sense. Yes, Shrest, you have anything to ask?
Yes, I would also like to ask, what was your first interpretation or thought when the brief was released, or when you read the brief or went through it?
What is the question? Like voice cut off too.
What was the first interpretation when you read the brief for the 67th year?
Yeah, it was like this was my second year in Hutco, so it was quite similar to the last year's brief for working professionals, but it had a twist of its own. Like it was a bit challenging to, because there's quite a gap between generations nowadays. Like you had working professionals to like very, it could have been a problematic to like younger people make quite a ruckus and fuss and. To include them with even working professionals who are like they want a peace after 9 to 5 after coming from job. They want some space to chill and like it was like the after reading the brief, Pune was like a very good option for us. Like Pune is a hub for students as well. It's a very booming IT sector. So it was challenging at first. We had multiple juries. We made 4 to 5 groups who presented their own case studies, and we went with this one. Like this intrigued us the most.
Would you like to give some advice for students preparing for this year's competition group?
Uh, Hardcore is like the most awaited trophy. Like everyone waits. It's like the heart of NASA trophies, and like it's a challenging. Like it's not just about creating these sheets. It's like personal life and professional life balance too. You have to put in hours, you have to work. Like it feels in between, like yeah, it's a lot, it's बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, but in the end it's all worth it. And you have to step by step. Like I like this code: focus on the small things and big thing fall in the place. Like you focus small by little, and everything makes sense.
Great. Great.
Exactly. Another question that I have on my end is like, see, Hudco, we all know that it is catering to economical weaker section of the people. So, how did you ensure that your design didn't just look good on the papers, but maybe actually catered to someone's daily life or something like that? Maybe some design element that you have used in your design that is not just for people on paper, or making it or having a greater impact on someone's life if it's implemented in a better way.
So basically, there are few students who live in a similar, like they live in a building apartments, which is filled up with kids. They don't live in a hostel, and we we visit them, and it's like we feel there is a need for, when we go there, we feel like there's a connection between students. Like all the students crammed in a different building, and all the other, like all the residential members, they live there. So we basically see them. There is a bit uh, disconnection between them. They're disconnected, and we felt like there weren't interaction spaces. Like they had this very big society, and yet we could not even interact with someone living beside us. Not even neighbors. We didn't even knew their names until, like. So I felt like there was some there was something needed to bring up the interaction. So that's why we came up with those interaction spaces. We wanted interaction on every level, between two dwellings, between floors, between the buildings, like between the blocks. So we made interaction possible on each and every level, because in starting we also faced this problem. We felt like no one is here to guide us, and slowly and steadily, like someone from our community, our seniors helped us out. They were beside us. They lived beside us. Slowly, as we got to know them, that they were in department, that's why we got to know about it. But you can have someone also too, but we don't get to interact with them. That's why we didn't knew. So by creating these elements like interaction spacing, hangout spaces, couches, gaming zone, libraries inside the building, so you get a space for interaction and you get to know them, and it becomes a community, very inclusive in itself. That's like really good.
Yes, I truly agree with you. Okay. So, do we have any other questions coming up? Okay. So, thank you guys. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So, let's move forward to our special mention one winner, Z112, Department of Architecture and Planning, MNIT. We have Arzu Single, and Mehek Jain from there. Hi, guys. Yeah, you guys can continue.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. First of all, we're extremely honored to represent our college as recipients of the Special Mention Award in the Hudco Trophy. Uh, One of the nicest parts of this project was that this was not just a submission project for us, it became a shared experience among our team. And this project started with a simple question: why does housing in growing societies feel so disconnected from people? Like while studying housing conditions in Jaipur, we observed issues like rising rents, unsafe living conditions, lack of ventilation, poor shared spaces, and most importantly, the absence of community interaction. And this became the starting point of a project. Our concept, from crisis to community, rethinks affordable rental housing through courtyards, cluster planning, walkability, shared spaces, and climate responsive design as well. So this sheet which you are actually seeing, this was the emotional foundation of our project. before starting the design, we first wanted to understand the real condition of urban housing. Instead of beginning with numbers, we like FAR, density, etc., we began with people. We observed that cities like Jaipur are attracting migrants, young professionals, students, but along with that, the living conditions in these spaces are continuously deteriorating. And we observe that the expensive, poorly ventilated spaces are there. People often live without any privacy, green areas, or interaction spaces. So that is why we titled this sheet as Lost in a City Between Invasions and Alienation. It actually reflects how people come to cities with dreams but often feel emotionally disconnected because of the way housing is designed. So this sheet basically asks one central question: how can housing become humane again? So I would like to move further. Case analysis. After identifying the housing crisis, we studied precedents that successfully created community oriented designing, and among different projects, we chose Belapur Housing by Charles Correa as it became our strongest reference. We chose Belapur Housing because it is not just a housing project, it is a social system. What inspired us throughout this project was that this creates interaction through courtyards, terraces, clusters, pedestrian spaces, and shared spaces as well. Uh, One major learning from this Belabur housing project was that was the hierarchy of spaces, that public, semi-private, private, and then semi-public maybe. So this gradual transition, I thought that it created comfort, ownership, and community interaction as well. The courtyard especially became very important for us, but because it works both for us, like a social device and a climatic device as well. So another important aspect was pedestrian prioritization. Vehicular movement was minimized, creating safer spaces and interactive community spaces as well. We extracted principles from this Belapur housing project, and these principles basically became the conceptual part for our designs. So we'll move towards the next sheet, the site analysis. Why we chose this? So we chose Talk Road site in Jaipur because it lies within a rapidly growing urban corridor with increasing rental demand from students, migrants, and young professionals as well. Uh, this site had strong connectivity, nearby institutions, and active urban surroundings. Uh, During this analysis, we studied sun path, wind directions, noise, movement patterns, and surrounding land use. Since Jaipur has an extreme climate, climate responsiveness became very important since the beginning. We used shaded edges, landscape buffers, courtyards, orientation based planning to improve thermal comfort and ventilation. And another major concern was balancing accessibility with calmness. While the city is active and dense from outside, we wanted the internal environment to feel safe, breathable, walkable, and community oriented as well. Moving to the next sheet. Uh, the living area. This was our concept. This is how our concept was evolved. At this stage, we inside our team we asked ourselves, how can housing become more than just an accommodation? So we realized that modern affordable housing often maximizes units, but fails to create an emotional comfort and social interaction. This is where a concept of community-oriented clustered housing was emerged. It was the concept was basically inspired by traditional Indian settlements, the courtyards, the chalks, and of course the case study which we had, the Belapur housing. We wanted to reinterpret these ideas within a contemporary affordable housing model. The courtyard was again the heart of the project because it worked socially and climatically, improving the ventilation, the daylight, thermal comfort, and interaction between the residents. So, along with this, we also introduced some movement corridors, passive cooling strategies, and modular planning systems as well. Overall, this established the philosophy of project because it created the housing that balances affordability, sustainability, privacy, and uh, emotional well-being as well. Moving to the master plan and community living. So this translated our concept into the actual master plan. Instead of designing isolated apartment blocks, we tried to plan the site as interconnected community clusters, and each cluster had its own safety, and it was basically divided into again the hierarchy of spaces like public, semi-public, and private areas. Public functions like dormitories and activity spaces were placed near the entrance, while the quieter residential zones were inward for better comfort and privacy. The central pedestrian spine became the backbone of the project, and rather than treating the circulation as just movement, we designed it in form of like landscape pockets, some sitting spaces, and pause spaces and interaction zones. So this sheet focused on research and concepts were transformed, and it focused on dignity in affordable housing. So now I'd like Mehak to take over.
Yeah, so one of the clusters consist of like 7 units, which includes one RK, one BHK, and two BHK, which has like two typologies. So the one RK that you see is like a sandwich between two BHKs and one BHK. It's on a like a active edges of the cluster. The two BHKs are at the corners and one BHK also like the vertical corners. So in the center, you get a central courtyard, and yeah, like mostly this. Then we can go to one BHK. One BHK is like it's a duplex. So we went for vertical stacking rather than like a traditional normal stacking because one of the major concerns of ours was passive cooling and daylight accessibility to all the spaces, which I think we achieved here because of the central courtyard and also the vertical stacking that we did. The ground floor that consists of a living space, living area, kitchen, and the toilets. And on the first floor, we have a bedroom which opens into a covered terrace. One of the things that we did here was the floor to floor height was 700 mm, and at the bottom of the bottom beam is 2400 mm. So we can directly fit the windows there without having the need of the lintel beams, which reduces our overall cost in the construction. One RK also like we designed very compactly, trying to have very minimal footprints. Sorry. It just includes one bedroom, single kitchen, and wash area. All the spaces we try to give a spillover of kind of a lawn thing so that they can have a like a visual appeal in such a dense cluster, and also it creates a microclimate change in the cluster. 2 BHK, 2 BHK, this is type A. This has, on the ground floor, it has living area, one bedroom, kitchen, and wet area. On the first floor, there is one more bedroom, which opens into open terrace. Similarly, 2 BHK, it's just a different planning, but the similar kind of thing. Living area, bedrooms, and kitchens on the ground floor, and one bedroom on the upper floor. So next to the dormitories, we designed it in a very stepped, as you can see, it's like a stepped section, which help us getting like these common areas. This, which you can see, because, okay. So we have this like OAT kind of here, which creates a double heighted space for community gathering and social interactions. Yeah, so in plan you can see it's like a stepped section, which on the ground floor we have all the civics functions like offices, kitchens, mess. On the first floor we have all the domes, dorm rooms, and one open OAT, which is double-sided for social interaction and gathering. On second floor, then again we have rooms and a common space. Yeah, so these are some like what according to the climate and the microclimate that we wanted to create on the site, we chose some of the plants and trees, other things. These are some of the major things that our designs have, like the shared courtyards, which create kind of a community space for that particular cluster. And it also, I'll say, act as a transactional space between like a public space and the private space, that is unit. So before that, you get first to the courtyard and then you move to the more private space, that is like units. No vehicle zones, only pedestrian zones. So around the walkway that we have, like as we have discussed already. And then the terrace gardens that we have created on the first floors of the units, and open gymnasium we have given. Yeah, so the sheets overall explains how the day went, how the human interacts with the designs. Uh, the shared courtyard can be used in so many ways, like morning walks, community gatherings, some events if they want to have. The terraces can be used also, like some yogas or day-to-day activities for drying clothes and other things. Yeah, so just that. This is some of the electrical and plumbing plans. Yeah. I think I also can take over now.
So, along with the things that the activities we planned, one more important thing that comes with every time comes with the design is that green logic. So, we wanted sustainability to become a part of this planning rather than an add-on feature. So, the project focused on affordable housing. So all the strategies needed to be practical, climate responsive, economical, and easy to maintain. And one major strategy was pedestrian prioritization through shaded walkways and reduced vehicular movement. We also tried to integrate the solar panel, solar street lighting to reduce energy consumption and to support the modern facilities. Water conservation was another important focus. We introduced green water reuse, low flow fixtures, wastewater recycling, and STP system on the site. Passive strategies like courtyards, cross ventilation, shaded pathways, landscape buffers helped improve the thermal comfort and reduced heat gain naturally. So we also included the composting systems and shared community facilities. Overall, this was like the sheet. What it showed was climate responsiveness and socially active and economically practical design that turned in sustainability and the greenery inclusiveness in this design. So now I would like, this was the material and construction details that we tried to add on in the windows, walls, roofs, and the systems, so that it became low cost and even functional.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, like rather than giving the fixed windows and the glasses, we have given louvers, because also because of the climate of the Jaipur, we wanted passive cooling because we have given a courtyards for the cross ventilations and that to work. The louvers are, I think, the best options there. Yeah. The overall cost for us was reduced by the lintel beam that I already discussed, and also like all the wet areas, the toilets that were given, share the common walls with the adjacent unit. So all the plumbing lines and electrical lines, everything it can be shared, and the overall cost has been reduced for that.
These were the snapshots, like the 3D views and all. So in the end, this project became much more than a competition entry for us. As I told earlier, it became a learning process about people, cities, and emotional role of architecture in everyday life. Also, we named this project as Anvaya Enclave because the word Anvaya represents connection, continuity, and togetherness, the values that became the foundation of our proposal. Through these courtyards, clusters, walkable streets, we attempted to create not just housing but a connected community where people feel safe, comfortable, and emotionally included. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Very wonderful presentation and design as well. So by seeing the presentation, I have two questions in my mind. What softwares did you use for your visual presentation?
That is like mostly because we didn't have much renders properly, like so mostly were Photoshops, Illustrator, SketchUp that we used. Yeah.
And second is, what was the biggest learning or takeaway from participating in this trophy?
I think that the biggest learning which we had was that never take this competition entry as just submissions. Make it an experience with the team because most of our major work would happened after college hours, like in the studios, and after regular classes we ended, we would sit together for long hours for discussions, sketching concepts, debating about the planning approaches and all, and figuring out what the project actually wanted to say. There was pressure of deadlines, but at the same time, it was also fun because everyone was equally involved and invested in this project. And the major recommendation and the learning I feel that was given to us from this Hudco was not to begin directly from form making or aesthetics. I feel that start by understanding the real issue behind the project. Hudco is not just about making beautiful sheets, I feel. It is about identifying the relevant social problem and responding it meaningfully through architecture. So we spent our time on research, understand user understanding basically, and site analysis and case studies, and a strong concept was driven from this. So this was the thing we learned. And another important thing was teamwork, because these competitions can become successful while managing academics simultaneously only when we have a team that can work together, and when we all are supportive with each other. In fact, we can take help from our seniors as well in these things as well, and keep like we tried to discuss our things with faculty as well, which also helped us. So these were the key learnings we took, and most importantly enjoy the process. And some of our best memories was came from late night studio hours and group discussions and online meetings that happened during the vacations, because of my minor work of compositions and all started when the vacations were started. So this constantly evolved our project. So these were our major learnings.
That was quite a wonderful advice for the future participants, I would say. Like, really, thank you so much for guys for the presentation, and the presentation was also very lovely. Thank you. Yes. Uh, so now we move forward uh, with our special mention to Z205 Manid Bhopal. From there we have Shret Kanungo and Tejasvi Srivastava. Yes, you guys can proceed.
Good evening, everyone. Myself Tejasvi Srivastava. Starting from the Hudco Trophy, when the brief was released, the first thing we went through was.
I think your presentation has stopped. Yeah. Yes, you guys can proceed. Thank you.
So the first thing we did was to interpret the brief. We understand what the brief was asking. The main thing which we understood was the sustainable rental housing which we were supposed to make. And starting with it, we tried searching for the sites, which was one of the main challenges we were faced with. We searched for different places like Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, many places. And finally, we were able to find a site in Hyderabad which was supporting all the aspects of the brief which were asked. We were able to find a land piece where proximity was something which was an add-on. So this was the first sheet where we showed what brief was asking for, brief interpretation and the aim. And also you guys can see that in the left side below, we have given a small footer, which was a basic emotion which we wanted to represent, that how when a student or young professional goes to a new city to explore, to learn, we explore the city as well. We roam into different places, which is a very emotional aspect which we wanted to see. Going to the second sheet, which shows why we had chosen Hyderabad. Because of the proximity, we would say there were many institutional buildings. IIT Hyderabad was there, and many other high-tech buildings and companies which we were supposed to cater the young professionals. So this was the main strength of a site. Also, Hyderabad was a place which has the highest migrating population of young professionals and students, which we wanted to cater. Therefore, Hyderabad was a city which we thought would be best for this brief. And we can see the central illustration which shows the demographics. We studied about that because by learning how much people migrate and what is the different income groups, so we could provide better cost effective housing. We searched upon that, also learning about the soil types, sun paths, and the climatic analysis of that place. We understood that Hyderabad is a place which the main problem which we faced during this was the climate, because Hyderabad is a place with harsh climate, so that was the main challenge we was faced upon. Then going to the third sheet, uh, talking about site selection criteria, which we already explained. We also studied about the problems faced by the young professionals, because there were different problems we had to cater on. Like for example, so we studied how safety was a major issue, because when young students go there, safety is the prior concern which we ask for. Then the congested buildings, because as when we search for a cost effective housing in a place like that, the thermal comfort is not there, because you need ACs or coolers, and without that in that place, cost effective housing is very difficult to find. So we were very much focused on making buildings which would be cost effective but catering the climate as well. The harsh climate, we wanted to provide the thermal insulation in our building. Then we also studied the activity mapping, that is we studied the routine of the people, so that we can provide our amenities according to that, the facilities according to that, how the daily flow of the daily life of the people is. We also studied the design recommendations from the climate consultants, so that we could actually get some idea about how to actually cater the climate of that particular place, what structural or the design elements we could provide over there. Then moving forward, we had done few case studies. The first one was the Sheikh Sarai, New Delhi by Raj Raval. The design concept was the main thing which we actually took from this, because we can see they had made a design which wasn't only aesthetically pleasing. It focused on how the simplicity can actually make the things better when we focus on more technical aspects, because using local materials they reduce the carbon footprint, and by using materials like acid bricks and rough uh, cast plaster, they focused on making the building more thermal insulated by the natural materials. That was a very good part of this. Then we moved to stanza living, which we focused on user centric design. We learned how, because in this design the main aspect was the inclusivity, how they make the designs, how they provided such spaces where people could come together, interact and learn from each other, and make also that so comfortable for everyone, so people would come there. Then the third was the Arena Housing Indore by B.V. Doshi. This is one of the most such buildings where we could see that organic designs, where there's no system like that. The main thing is they had made the buildings in a way so that it could be more future ready, so that we can expand in the future, so that people could adjust according to their needs, which was also a very good point which we try to include in our site. Then moving forward, talking about the concept, design concept, the three main points which we focused on. First was contextual modernism, which means that how we tried incorporating traditional aspects in our design, traditional plannings, movements. How could we connect to our culture as well, not only focusing on the modern aspect of designing. Then climate responsive. Architecture, as I say earlier, climate was the big problem. So incorporating facades and permeable pavements, such things which could actually make our building more sustainable and climate responsive. Then inclusive and shared living, because in cities like Hyderabad, people are so engaged in their self work that they don't interact. So providing spaces like co-working space and clubhouse, we provide space where people could interact, sit. And then design elements where provided pedestrian movements, natural lighting, ventilation to cater such things, and making our building more sustainable in different aspects. Form evolution was a very was a step where we all sat together and we brainstormed. We figured out how we can make a structure, a form which could naturally cater the climate. And this was a very interesting process, I would say, where everyone could put their ideas on. Even first years, we could interact, we could learn, and we could see how different ideas could merge together. Then we are also focused on making a site universal accessible by providing pathways and providing such elements where we could support these communities as well. Then moving forward, talking about the master plan, this is a master plan, as we can see. So we had provided one main entrance and the exit, as and we have also provided the main vehicular pathways around the boundary of our site, which was a very important circulation element, because we didn't wanted the vehicular movement inside the site. So we had kept the pedestrian and vehicular different. Also, we have provided the clubhouse, that is the phone number, if you can see in the central, so that it could be accessible from the three different buildings which we had provided for the housing. And we had tried creating a space which could be more of fulfilling and could make you feel more comfortable in green aspects as well, providing landscaping in a way that you could feel comfortable walking around and take a break from your tedious lifestyle. So yeah, that's it.
Moving forward to plants, we had to design 4 types of units, and this was type A unit, which was 1 BHK. We had a cluster of 4 units aligned together, in which the corner ones were type A and the other ones were 1 RK type. This was type B unit, which is 2 BHK, and these were clustered together. 2 units were placed together in a cluster. The circulation was very simple, and we kept privacy in our mind, all the functionality, day-to-day activities, and how a basic a family of 2 or maybe a family of 4 can reside together with children in this place. Next was type C unit, which was 1 room set or 1 room kitchen. This was planned in an open layout type, where we had placed kitchen, specialized living area, then bathrooms and WCs were separated so that they can be used separately. Study space was given along with a balcony. So we tried to club the type C and the 1 BHK unit together in a cluster, and the other units were clubbed together. Next was type D unit, which is a dormitory. So we provided 2 modules. First one was 4-bed module, and the another was 6-bed module. The dormitories had a pantry area also, so that students can prepare basic food, or they can have sit and enjoy the food in the balcony. We had a counter extending towards the balcony so that they can sit and enjoy the food there. We had 2 washrooms and 2 bathrooms for them, and a special closet area was provided where they can keep their clothes and belongings. So this was about the dormitory. Next, the clubhouse, which Tejasvi was talking about. We had gymnasium spaces, play areas, community gathering hall, swimming pool. A dispensary was also included. The surveillance room was equipped here, and all the activities were planned in a way that everyone can access it properly. These are some visuals from the site, how we have chosen the materials in a way that it aligns together. And since it was planned for young professionals and students, so those vibrant colors and textures were chosen to fit the target group. Innovative techniques that we have used were building material reusability, that the materials which we use that can be reused in other ways. And next was circular economy. We had done a case study of Taiwan's housing, where they have recycled elements from other housing and reused the materials in a way that they doesn't harm the environment. Next was the eco pond, where microorganisms and plant naturally filter the grey water, and the landscaping was done in a way that these eco ponds are inbuilt in that. So when it comes to the structure and construction detail, we chose a raft foundation, which was ideal for this type of construction. Instead of traditional brick and RCC structure, we went for EPS core panel for walls and hollow core slab for roofs. And the joinery was explained here in a detailed manner. Most of the materials were recycled and chosen in a way that they are cost effective and easy to maintain, and which are easily available in the local areas, as well as they don't require any specialized maintenance requirement, so that people living there on a rental basis, they can maintain it easily and live it there peacefully. The water tanks and capacities were also mentioned, that how much water tanks and septic tanks all the place and what are the capacity they had. The landscaping was done in a way that we had a mix of ornamental and flowering plants, as well as we focused on xeriscaping, because the water availability in that area was very low. And we included the STP there, renewable energy sources were equipped. We also included some fruit bearing plants, so that people can enjoy fruits in different seasons. And air purifying plants were strategically placed so that they can have a good environment, and air quality index could be maintained better. We also included some medicinal plant in landscaping, so that if people are focusing on natural living, they can use this medicine and herbs in their daily lives. This was the cost estimation, which was done by the third years, and we included all the steps from excavation till finishing. This was the cost estimate. And in the conclusion, we say the theme which was exclaimed last year, we tried to incorporate that theme in our project. Also, the operation and maintenance was a major part of it, because this was a rental housing. So we chose to have a maintenance fee and the membership fee. We gave details about that also, that how the rental system will work, and how this project will impact the infrastructure, affordability and security of the area, since there are various use and various type of people using this particular project. So we included all those impact together. And there were for few government schemes also which we have included. So overall, this was the project which we compiled together, and which was focusing on the housing of young professionals and students which were living nearby. So this was all about from our side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shred. It was a wonderful presentation, I would say. Uh, Coming to this, first, I would like to ask you one question that is going on in my mind. That is, see, all of this, the Hudco Trophy is always a teamwork trophy. Like, so, like, and also Hardcore Brief that year was also notoriously very research heavy. So how did your team divide the labor between the technical report and the design sheet to ensure that both outcome was equally strong?
So we divided the team in different verticals from initial the start of the trophy. We had a research and design vertical working together, and then the presentation was a different vertical. So majorly the second years and the first years were working in the presentation vertical, and some of the second years and third years were working in the research and design verticals. So that's how the technicalities were taken care by the seniors, and the presentation part was taken care by the juniors.
Okay. Yes.
So, were there any drawbacks or challenges faced during this whole process?
Yes, this the Hudco Trophy collided with our exams, followed by the end sem break and one event in our college. So we faced lot of difficulties during those. We managed somehow managed times. The half work was done in college in the offline mode. Then we shifted to online mode, and everyone was traveling. So there was a lot of chaos between that. We lost around 20, 25, 20 days most probably in all those things. So there were problems with the initial designing. Then when it came to choosing the materials, since only one team member from us from was from the Hyderabad region, so choosing materials and getting the information of that locally available things was a challenge. But somehow we figured it out and did this.
Great, actually. Next, I would like to ask that what would be your advice for the next participants coming up from the experience that you gained from last year?
So I've been doing Hudco from my first year. So I did Hudco for 3 years continuously. What I feel that Hudco is kind of more practical in terms of designing when it comes to technicalities and when we compile our projects. But when I came across this year brief, it was very large scale development. So I think they have to focus on major things which is on a broad perspective on an urban design level. Usually from past years we are focusing on details, technicalities and small scale detailing, as some of the team members also mentioned. But now since the project focuses on a large scale project, they have to focus on master plan and how the buildings will be placed in such a big site, and how they will plan the circulations and all those things. So these things will be better if for this year's brief particularly.
Exactly. Yes, Trish, do you have anything to say?
That was actually a great advice for this year's participant. Let's see how the entries are going to come this year.
Yes. Truly, thank you so much, guys, for presenting. Now we move forward to our special mention 3 unit, that is at 214 IDPT SCET. From there, we have Karnik Parikh and we have Kishan Nishad. Welcome, guys. You guys are good to present.
Hello, everyone. So, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes.
your
Uh,
but pop-up is still on. You can hide it. The Google Meet pop-up.
so, hello, everyone. Myself, Kishan Nishad, and my partner, Karnik Parekh, is going to explain our entry Anugrah Avas. So, to start with the overall debriefing, we uh, tried to debrief all the pointers that were mentioned in throughout the brief and started analyzing all the tier one cities that that are falling. And while doing the analysis, we found out that Bangalore was a major corporate and educational hub that has a impressive growth in comparison to other cities. So, but due to uh, this growth, they had a lot of crises, that is a steep 30% rise in rentals, also a severe lack of affordable high quality housing for migrants who make up 60% of, I think, student population. Uh, and in very detail of that, we identified South Bangalore, specifically the Electronic City area, as our focus, as it represents 35% of city's rental demand, but suffers from high cost and low quality, low facilities. Transitioning to the next site, our site was strategically located at a place where all the major transit corridors and IT hubs were very nearby. And also we did so much of rigorous technical analysis, which showed that southern and western portion has the maximum highest heat gain. So that informed our use of shading devices and thermal mass. Also, we saw that southwest winds were leveraged for natural ventilation. So we mapped everything from building heights and age to traffic density and local drainage. This micro view ensured our design respects the existing urban fabric while solving its shortcomings. Next is we had a very detailed human activity mapping, which helped of our students, working professionals, and working professional with students, which helped us to found the space which they use in very common spaces. So our approach was rooted in very activity mapping basis. Also, we had studied three case studies, and through that core. We had three core pillars derived from architectural case studies, which is one is that modularity and spatial hierarchy. Second one is eyes on street, and third one was open building system and modular flexibility. Uh, the building wasn't arbitrary. We started with the maximum site volume and carved it based on solar orientation, added a central void for an entrance, and introduced staggered units with balconies to ensure every resident had a visual connection to open space. Every inch adheres to Karnataka municipal building bylaws, from FAR to fire tender clearances and setback requirements. Uh, Coming to the master plan prioritizes the human experience. Only 35% of the site was built, and the rest of the portion was left for a lush central park, pet-friendly areas, and community zones like gym and daycare. We integrated few sustainable features, which is for water. We integrated a 7 lakh liter rainwater harvesting system. Also, grey water recycling for landscaping was done into the overall site. The entire roof also we covered with pergola, powering common areas with renewable energy. Centralized servicos handle everything from high-speed internet to automated waste chutes. Coming to the floor plates, we made floor plate act as a street in the sky, connected by an expansion that creates a welcome for an each and every level. That made a very nice corridor where each and every individual of every unit can come and have a chat. So every floor has and every edge has a meeting point for each and every individual. Coming to this aerial view, as you can see, we tried to connect each and every unit to our heart of the housing, which was this landscape. So every unit has a visual connection with this space. Next, I would like Kanik to carry on.
Yes, thank you, Kishan. So in this sheet, after having an overview of how the building is having its stakeholders and working with its landscape and all, we see how the building works in as in a structure, as in a machine. So we have different computational performance analysis, that are heat gain analysis, solar radiation, shadow, structural, and floor-wise daylight analysis, CFD, that is wind approaching each level. Similarly, also we have the wall opening ratios. Those are in each north, east, west, and south, each side, the percentage of how what area the wall is covering and what area is the porous building acting as. And as we move forward to the next sheet, we see a very articulated landscape, as in architecture, heart of our nucleus approach towards the communal space. we have stakeholders that are working classes, students, and what our philosophy was to hold them in different levels. That is the ground floor having amenities with activities for everyone. The landscape part is the main nucleus of the communal space that brings everyone together. And then as we move above, we have the working classes that have that are with families, children's, or old ages. Then as we move above, we have the 2 BHK, and then above the dormitories that have students incorporated in them. So the landscape part, we have amenities such as the quiet zone, play and fun zone. These amenities bring different. We have different stakeholders of different ages. So we need to carry out activities for children also, for old ages, and for young students also. Those have that fun and play zones that have community-based chattings and library spaces and all. As next sheet, we start with the planning of our units, the studio and 1 BHK unit. We have merged two different units together on basis of the stakeholders that rely on the floor. So we see a studio flat and a 1 BHK unit that are sticked together. Then we have its sections and interior views that showcase the activities that are be carrying on. Similarly, we have the electrical plan, the layout and all, and the fixtures that give the costing of all the furnitures and fixtures that we have incorporated in them. As the next sheet, this starts with the 2 BHK unit type A. So this unit has the stakeholders that have a family and are working classes. So they rather have old ages or old age people in with them or children's with them. So in this, we had the philosophy of having small families or dual income households that would require distinct spaces for rest, work, and social lives too. We also can see interior spaces that have people working in them and enjoying their life. Similar working electrical plans and layouts are given for the fixtures, costing, and all. The next. This is the type B that is attached with the type A in two levels. So we had a grid set with, in our site plan, and on that we had different modules of units for the studio, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, and dormitories that act on the same column grid but have different planning zonings in it. So this is another typology for the same working class, as we have different balcony spaces and kitchen spaces, layouts and all. So next part of it, this is the main space that we had a very special designing part was the dormitory unit. It was basically for the working students and the, I would say, singular working classes that lived in them. So this was a split level mezzanine typology that maximizes vertical space to create functional separations between community living and private sleeping zones. The ground, the base unit, the base part of the unit was the living area, which had a pantry, a dining table, and open balconies to each part of the unit. As we move above, we have similar three beds and sharing working work pod spaces in them. So this would have open ventilation, open view from the balconies they have, and the next articulation part that we have in the next sheet. Yes. This is one of the main parts of this trophy's Hudco, as we have stepwise construction basis. As we see site excavation, then footing installations, structural framework, base for floor constructions, and adding staggering units in them with the same column grids. And then we have the adding of landscape and facade. So mapping out the whole building, we have assembled a stage function from bare earth to the finished facade. We have also provided pre-construction strategies that what a site survey and data collection, climate and weather study, hydrology assessments are worked on, and a worker welfare temporary accommodations that are used or designed for the FCB sheets, FCB sheets, jute windows, tetra systems that use as in modules. Next part of the trophy. This is a very important part of the construction as it is what brings people together. Now, we had a philosophy to not only keep people on the ground, on the landscape part, but also keep them out of their units in the passage. So the passage, there is a skin that we have applied on the passage to help it from sun radiation, as we have applied this Mangalore tiles, and that acts as sun cutters in heat. As in summer time, it does not allow the sunlight directly enter it at higher angles, and similarly in the winter it allows the winter sunlight to enter as it is at a lower level. Now we see, as in the first section, we can see plantations used and different materials incorporated within it. So the passage wholly becomes a livelihood or a communal space for in festivals, as we bring on rangoli in the passages. Then we have sittings with them, and it only it creates a very natural and easy way for everyone to commute, just not by in the main ground, but also after outside their units also. We see different, we have also enlisted different rainwater harvesting tables, sustainable modules in the landscape. The material palette, as we can see, we have used flooring as Kota stone, terracotta clay tiles, calcium silicate panels, permeable pavements in the landscape. The solar panel table, the vermicompost table also gives a a calculated amount, that what the philosophy that we used was what we take while constructing, or the carbon emission, uh, the earth we have taken out time by time, by using such strategies of rainwater harvesting, solar panels. We give everything back to the site, or everything back in terms of costing or estimations. Next sheet. So this sheet has the rental housing model and cost estimations. So it has the market context in the electronic phase 2 city that we took. It has 2 BHKs costing and 3 BHK costing with rental housing cost, and then the triple P model that we have integrated in to add on government subsidies or use BBMP provided lands to develop for such rental and EWS or LIG group sectoring people or communities. So it has all the costing and everything is done in this sheet. We have different costings of life cycle costing, then the annual costing of the finishing cost, materials, unit level extensions, and legal costs that would be attributing to the overall cost of the land and government issues. So it has a cost summary at the bottom of it that gives the overall cost. The next sheet, this showing the final render of the final sheet. It was to sum up that how the analysis, data, then engineering, all of this part come to serve as a single existing part of life. It is to show the difference between costly and expensive. You see, we have listed down all the rental and costing of the final units with the area marked in them, and also ticked down the Griha evaluation criterias to as in service as a net zero building also. So this is not just a part of construction or adding place for communities. This is also acting as a net zero building, a communal space, and a quiet, better paid part of living for such communal peoples or such working class peoples. Yes, this is it. Thank you.
Great presentation, guys. First of all, I would like to say that you guys have worked upon so much graphics and statistics. So, what type of what are the softwares that you guys have used? mainly?
So we basically use Photoshop, AutoCAD, and SketchUp, and for analysis we use Revit and sometimes Rhino. So we have a lot of skill in based in Photoshop and Illustrator to form graphics and other renders for it also.
Also, I was while you guys were presenting the sheets, I was going through it. Like there was so much of data in the first sheets that I was seeing on the research. So, would you tell one example where those datas actually came out into space? Like maybe like from the data you got something which actually got a space here in your design. I think Kishan, you are not. Yeah, your mic is not. No, like some problem is happening. I think your mic is not being audible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Karnik, you're audible.
When we were studying and data analyzing about what our stakeholders were, we had an age group and their working time that the whole day we had selected specific timings that they work, they come back home, they rest, then they move out to spaces. So using this data analysis, and that is the main part that we had to use for our philosophy, was to make a better living for such people that work or maybe 9 to 5 or more than that, so they have a better resting space, a better communal space that where they can enjoy with a lower affordable rate, and a better green space and from the outer areas that they come to. So that was the part that came into action as a space, the passages, the landscape, and their units.
Okay, great. Sresh, do you have anything to ask?
Seeing the data and the compilation of work, I believe a lot of teamwork must have gone behind this. So, looking back at this, what aspect of teamwork became the most important in completing this project successfully?
Uh, we really had a great team. Our third year, second years, and first years too. They were very hardworking with all the time. We even had our exams with this, and event going on. But still, we had a lot of time after the studios to work on this. And as our seniors teaching us continuously on how we analyze data, how we put them into sheets, that helped us a lot. So the guidance of the seniors that we had at that time was the point that made us to work and learn and reach at a level to, as Hudco is a really practical trophy, you need to go on the reality of things on basis of construction costing and livability factors. So it was a very interesting part that we got to learn, and how data is analyzed and really put into spaces or sheets, or how it is presented. So that kept us going, and I guess we have achieved a very well level on that too.
Yes, congratulations on that. Do you guys have a last piece of advice for the participants coming up for the next year, for this year?
Uh, this year's brief is really broad in terms of the site area and all, but I guess it is a challenging part that has come from the last. I have been doing Hardcore from the last 2 years, and we have been working on details and sections and how internal planning works for communal spaces and people. But now, as in a broad way, we have a lot of things that were not really till they taught to us, or in a way that we have still achieving to do. Now, the main part is studying the master plan or such an site area. We are uh, we are basically using our concept to be the main part of it, and then work on the detailings of it. So it is challenging also, as in to work with such an site area, but I guess we will use it to our best opportunity in learning.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for presenting.
Thank you.
And now we finally move towards the last entry of today's evening. We have Judo's choice of 67th year, Z681, SCMS School of Architecture. From there, we have Aisha, we have Almas, we have Amarjeet, and Fatima. Hi, guys. You guys can proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, we are team of 4 and 3 are presenting. Today we are presenting our project title Arohana, Affordable Renting Housing for Pune Youth. The word Arohana means growth, progress and rising upwards. And our project represents a supportive living environment that helps students and young professionals build a better future. And Pune is one of the major educational and IT hubs. Every year, thousands of students and working professionals move to the city for education and employment opportunities. And because of this, affordable and comfortable housing has become a major challenge. And our project focus on the solving issues by creating a rental housing community that is affordable, safe, functional, and social engaging. And the project is located near Pashan, Pune, and site area of approximately 3,920 square meters. And currently, the site is mostly undeveloped and filled with trees and vegetations. And the surrounding areas include educational institutions, IT parks, and residential neighborhoods, making it for the ideal location for youth housing. And the target users of this project are students, young professionals, working individuals, and our main goals of this project is to provide affordable renting housing, comfortable living spaces, community interactions, access to essential amenities, and a healthy, sustainable environment. And now I would like to hand over to Amarjit.
Good evening. So, during our design process, we came to a conclusion of design program where we made a program of what all rooms, what all are our uh, things to be achieved as per the brief. So we incorporated one room studio apartments, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 4 bed dormitory. And during our process of designing, we started with the form development, where we started with a basic cube, and then we went to in the stage one, we later formed a linear fragmentation where the design is mainly focused on a linear piece so that the wind circulation and movement will be much more efficient. And later we in the next stage, we incorporated a internal courtyard formation for the lighting and the ventilation part. And for we and during the initial stage, we came to the area statement where the one studio apartments have an area of around 15 to 20 square meters with approximately 60 number of units, and the 1 BHK units with 30 to 40 square meters with an approx of 50 units, and the 2 BHK of 50 to 60 square meters and 20 units, and also a 4 bed dormitory where the area is around 25 to 30 square meters and 10 units. And this is the master plan of our design. In this, we mainly focused on the part where actually the site area is around 3,000 3,100 square meters with the plot size of 65 meters by 62 meters. And as per the FAR, the maximum site area build-up area to be achieved is 6,000 square meters, and the ground coverage to be followed is 35%. And in this, the ground floor mainly focus on the public areas and the semi-public areas where the cafe, reception, and the open spaces were incorporated. And I hand over to Almas.
So hi. So we started our the idea of the planning started from the little details which we lacked in our own hostels, where we didn't got to have much interaction spaces or shared spaces which where we spend time together, to get breathe in whenever we stress out. So we started from integrating such small details into our planning. So we planned by integrating blocks into our design, rather than designing a rigid or a single block or structure. So we integrated blocks, different blocks, part by part, by in adding intermediate green spaces within them. So this was the first block, and this had dormitories, and which is like 4 sharing and 5 sharing rooms. We planned in such a way that when one is studying or working on their job, the one who's sleeping should not be affected by their work or the lights on or whatever. So we integrated partitions in between, and we also considered of dressing area which we didn't had in our all of our hostels. So like that. And next page. So the block 2 consists of the 1 BHK apartments and 2 BHK, where and some co-sharing spaces as well. Next page, Amar. So this is the plan of 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, and single room, 1 BHK, 2 BHKs. And so as you can see, the dressing areas, and we planned in such a way that one is not disturbed by the other, and also we added some spaces like next page, Amar. Spaces like co-working spaces, gymnasium, laundry spaces, and cafe, which improves that interaction um, uh, and co-working thing you have. Whenever co-working spaces, which helps one to get to know each other and get interaction atmosphere, and cafes and semi-reading areas in between the planning, to make it more lively, and also added gymnasium for physical activities, and etc. So these were the sections and elevations. Amar, you're muted.
Sorry. So we did a part where the cost estimation and material specification of the project, where the approximate cost of the project comes at around 10 crore, where the approximately 1800 to 2000 per square meters, with an ROI in 8 to 10 years. And also the materials we use are compressed CACB blocks, fly ash bricks. Fly ash brick is the most prominent material we used in this design. And also we incorporated terracotta, jali, and clay tiles, recycled wood, and recycled glass to reduce the cost of the project. These are the renders of the interior spaces, rooms, and the dormitories. And I hand over to Almas for the conclusion.
So it was, of course, difficult for all of us to manage our academic responsibilities along with this Hudco journey, but still, we got to manage the things out with, of course, with the help of our faculties and friends, and the teamwork always to benefit in a good way, I guess. And thank you.
That was a great presentation. Since you mentioned there are some drawbacks uh, while you were working for this trophy, what were the strongest aspects for your team when working together? What would be that one thing that uh, gave you a major learning or takeaway from participating in this trophy?
It's it was like we our we had juries and all the exams going on while we were working in this project, and we only had 4 members, which was a little bit tough, and we worked really hard for to make something like this out, like at the end of the day. And uh, the teamwork is what actually worked within us. We splitted our works in such a way that we have to meet the deadline anyway. Like it was not easy for any one of us. So
Okay, so what was the first approach like towards the site? Like while selecting the site, what did you guys first thought? Like why to choose this site? Yeah.
So we mainly chose the site because of, as per the brief, we need to choose a tier one city in India.
Hmm.
Uh, and while looking for a tier one city, we noticed the site in Pune, where the location and surrounding is mainly consisting of universities and IT parks. So as per our brief, of designing a rental housing for a student or and a working professional. So we thought the site in Pune would be much more effective for our this food Hudco competition. So that made the final call for choosing a site in Pashan, Pune.
Okay, that was great. Tell us one thing that you feel while doing Hutco that really helped you guys to um, you learned something in the process that will also help others who are currently working upon this year Hutco Trophy.
the even I think even the small ideas which come up is come up do matters. I mean, never hesitate to bring up your small ideas. They can make a difference. Uh, Maybe like the little things the little details we miss out in our daily life can actually do work in our uh, planning or our design.
Okay, yes, that was quite an insightful session, I would say. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, Shrestha.
Thank you guys for joining. As we conclude today's session, I would like to thank all of the participants for participating in this trophy and for their hard work and dedication. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, guys. I really hope that this was a very insightful session and this would encourage others to participate more in Hutco Trophy. And best of luck to you guys for your future also. Yes, thank you for joining. Nihar, you have cut the live.